Fred, it's a huge game tonight. You needed 2 points. Seemed like a gutsy effort. I don't know, what would you call that win tonight?
Yeah, it's, we put up another 50 shots. We were severely disappointed with Friday's result. I think we took a lesson from Friday. We played enough to win that game. We should have won, and I thought a lot outside the first probably 3 shifts of this game. I thought that we were doing a lot, even down 2-0 going in the third period. For us, it was just about being mature. We talk about it all the time, learning to win when we're up, and now we need to learn to win when we're down. When we're playing good hockey like that, the biggest thing is believing and making sure that frustration wasn't taking over. Because we were frustrated in Friday's game, and it ended up biting us in the ass on that game. And I love the bounce back. I love the way we played, a little bit more detailed game tonight, a little bit more playoff style game. And I thought, as the game went on, we were able to impose our will.
Yeah, it seemed, especially after the second goal, but even started in that mid after the first goal in the third, it seemed like you guys really started to put the pressure on. Yeah, you had a lot of shots in the first couple of periods, but it didn't seem like you had a ton of volley scoring chances. Would you say that?
Yeah, I could. We talked about, we were doubling shots there going to the third period, but we didn't think there was a lot of traffic. I'd agree with you what you said. I thought he's seen a lot, and he's a really good goalie. He's probably one of the best in the league, and he made it real hard on us tonight. And we needed to be greasy. We needed to keep on throwing it at the net. Need to keep on getting people there for rebounds. Like I said, I don't think we were as much around the net as we wanted to be when we were getting shots. I liked our possession. I liked the way that we were hemming them in. I liked the way that we were, getting offensive zone line changes, having them against tired lines. So a lot of those good things. But like I said, we don't score the easiest, so we got to do things, a certain way. And I like the way we stuck with it tonight.
Obviously, Brad went to the third period, no goals on the scoreboard, but I felt like you had your chances, maybe a few unlucky bounces here and there, and you're maybe looking for something to build off of. What would you say was maybe the turning point in the third period, and what did you maybe say to those guys going into that final period just to stick with it?
I think it just was a lot of individual self-talk. You got to believe in yourself. I'm going to score. I'm going to score. I'm going to score. Give me a chance. And when you can start saying that stuff, now we start saying we're going to score as we talking in the bench. And to us, it was all about, the message was just belief and making sure, I guess I'm repeating myself here, making sure we're not getting frustrated like we did in Swift. And just keep on plugging away. I don't think there was much more we could have done in that game. Get to the net a little bit more, but we were doing so many good things that I thought that, after the first, 7 minutes, a couple penalty kills here and there, but I thought we really, took the game to them, and we're playing our style of hockey.
In February, I know you're going to enjoy this one, but in February as a whole, I think you're looking today, I think you got 13 games now in February, including the one that got moved today. So obviously enjoying this one, but a lot of hockey to play in February. So just kind of maybe building on this, but how do you look ahead to that, and what are you doing to prepare in terms of all the hockey you're going to be playing?
Well, the biggest thing we're talking about, Evan, is not looking ahead. I think we got to take shift by shift, win our moment that we're in here. That's the message to the players right now. Yeah, there's going to be some planning out with us coaching staff and stuff like that, but I think the biggest thing for us as a whole right now is don't get ahead of ourselves. We need to, just keep on plugging away here. Don't worry about what Red Deer's doing. Don't worry about what Moose Jaw's doing. Worry about us and making sure that we're showing up prepared, making sure we're giving our best effort, make sure we're playing with details, and we do that. I believe we'll be there at the end. I believe we're a playoff team. I believe that we're going to be in the playoffs this year. And for us, it's just about winning the next moment ahead of ourselves.
Goals from Keats and Caden again tonight. Those two guys really seem to be carrying your team. What have you seen from them lately here?
Yeah, they're both goal scorers. They've been doing it, a lot this year for us. And, it's something we've come to expect out of them. But I think I think the way that we played around them, I think the other guys, the way that they played around them, their line mates, I think, helped them out a lot. I thought Klaas and Lanny really bring a lot of speed, a lot of second effort, a lot of good details to the game that helps Keats out and lets him play his game a little bit. Same thing with Ellis, same thing with Moore. Those guys really play, the game the right way, and they allow Brownie to, think a little more offensive. We need to have everyone here, pulling the rope the same way, but those guys are hugely important to us, and I think the biggest thing is us getting secondary scoring, and got the young guys in tonight, and Maddox got us going. It wasn't his prettiest goal he's ever going to score, but I think that's what's going to make him special in the future. He's going to score in multiple different ways.
Well, that was a huge 2 points for your team tonight. What did you like your effort tonight?
Yeah, I did. It was a good bounce back game after a bit of a tough one in Swift, and I think really it just came down to a lot of shots and a lot of good chances, and we just weren't finding bounces tonight. And then finally, one came, and then a second came, and then we were able to finish off in overtime. I think we played solid all night, but it was just a lack of bounces on our side.
Brad mentioned you guys maybe got away from it late in Swift Current. What did you guys say just in the room there to keep the confidence going into the third and find those 2 goals?
I think honestly it was just keep playing how we're playing. I think there's a time when you're playing so well and getting so many shots and opportunities that you're bound to find a bounce at some point through the offensive play in our game tonight. So I think it was really just sticking to what we were doing and just waiting for a bounce to come, really.
Sometimes that can get frustrating on the bench, right? You get that many shots, you're not getting a goal. You're facing a tough goaltender. What did you see on those 2 goals out there that maybe got your team going, especially late in the third there?
I think it was just kind of simple plays. Foss made a great play, and one kind of followed another, and then I think it was almost a blessing in disguise having those 2 goals come to us kind of later, because we had all the momentum going into overtime. So it's a different way of looking at it, but I think they were kind of on their heels in OT, and we were able to kind of generate off that.
Going into overtime, you obviously had a key role in that last goal. Maybe just walk us through what you saw. I mean, kind of in the corner, and you decided to go to the net. 3-on-3, did those kind of opportunities just happen, or did you just see something?
Yeah, it kind of has to come natural, I think, honestly. 3-on-3 is just such a different ball game, and there was a big hit in the corner, and then 2 guys were kind of on Brownie tied up, and I saw the puck kind of squirt, and I was able to get almost a partial breakaway down low, really, and missed my shot initially, and then Brownie tapped in the rebound. So yeah, really just kind of a squirted puck, and I was able to get on the right side of it.
With the game tonight, you guys have 13 games in February, so a lot of hockey to play. Certainly the most amount of games, I think, in 2026 you play a month. So a lot of games we played. He just talked about staying present, taking it 1 shift at a time, 1 game at a time. Is that kind of the mindset, or like how do you prepare for just such a busy month like that?
Yeah, I think exactly what Hoff said. You also got to look at the lack of practice time we have. I think rest is such a key in a busy month like that. So I think lack of practice time is just doing the things that we can do. We might not be on the ice as much, but we got to stretch more. Make sure we're hydrated and eating good food, and know that games are just going to kind of keep coming one after another. We're not going to have these big long weeks off to practice and maybe dial in kinks in our games. So.
Yeah, and I mean that might help with not getting too high, not getting too low. Is that kind of like what you think? Like, there's been some games where you guys would be, for example, Edmonton, and then didn't go your way in Lethbridge. Like, how do you kind of stack some wins together here and just stay focused on building on the next one?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the key question that everyone wants to know, really. Yeah, it's tough. Winning in this league's tough, especially with the team that we have. We have a pretty solid team, but there's some big dogs in this league. So we're gonna have to find ways to just keep it simple and kind of play our game. But yeah, stacking wins is real tough. We go in and pop Edmonton and then play a weaker team in Lethbridge, and yeah, so it's just gonna be the ability to kind of stay in our zone and don't kind of get out of it with so many games.